October 4th, 1943, North Atlantic, 850 nautical miles west of Ireland. Captain-Lieutenant Heinrich Zimmermann commanded U-422 with the confidence of a hunter who had stalked Allied convoys for 18 months without ever suspecting that he might become prey. The massive Type 7C submarine cut through the grey Atlantic swells at periscope depth, her crew scanning for the merchant ships that carried American supplies to Britain while maintaining the vigilant watch that had kept them alive through dozens of successful patrols. The TBM Avenger from USS Card appeared as a distant speck against the overcast sky, just another American patrol aircraft conducting the routine searches that German U-boat crews had learned to evade through timing, stealth, and the vast emptiness of the Atlantic Ocean. Zimmermann ordered an emergency dive as standard procedure required, confident that his submarine would disappear into the dark water and escape detection through the proven tactics that had enabled German U-boats to dominate Atlantic shipping lanes for 3 years. What Zimmermann could not see was the unusual weapon nestled in the Avenger's bomb bay, a sleek, torpedo-shaped device designated Mark 24, but known by its classified nickname FIDO. The weapon looked unremarkable from the outside, but inside its streamlined casing was technology that would revolutionize anti-submarine warfare through the application of acoustic guidance systems that could hunt submarines in the dark depths where conventional weapons could not reach. Lieutenant Commander Robert Williams, piloting the Avenger, had trained extensively with the new weapon, but had never used it in combat. As U-422 disappeared beneath the surface, Williams initiated the attack sequence that would demonstrate whether months of development and testing had produced a weapon capable of turning the tables on German submarines that had terrorized Allied shipping throughout the Battle of the Atlantic. The FIDO dropped away from the Avenger with none of the dramatic splash and bubble trail that characterized conventional depth charges or torpedoes. Instead, it entered the water smoothly, activated its acoustic guidance system, and began listening for the sound signature that would lead it to its target. Silent, wakeless, and deadly, the weapon represented the world's first operational smart weapon, designed specifically for hunting submarines in their underwater sanctuary. 150 feet below the surface, Zimmermann ordered silent running as U-422's crew held their breath and listened for the sounds that would indicate whether the American aircraft had detected their position. They heard nothing unusual. No explosions, no depth charges, no indication that their submarine had been located. The silence seemed to confirm that their emergency dive had been successful, and that they had once again escaped American detection through superior German submarine tactics. The FIDO's hydrophones detected U-422's propeller noise at a range of 1,200 yards, well within the weapon's operational parameters. The acoustic torpedo adjusted its course and began homing on the distinctive sound signature created by the German submarine's diesel engines and electrical motors, following an electronic trail that would lead inevitably to impact and destruction that Zimmermann's crew could not detect, evade, or counter. If the ocean hides everything, what happens when your enemy can hear you? The development of the Mark 24 FIDO acoustic torpedo represented the convergence of American scientific research, industrial capacity, and tactical innovation in response to the devastating effectiveness of German U-boat operations during the Battle of the Atlantic. By 1942, German submarines were sinking Allied merchant vessels faster than shipyards could replace them, threatening to strangle the supply lines that connected American industrial production with British survival and Soviet resistance on the Eastern Front. The project began at Bell Telephone Laboratories and Harvard's Underwater Sound Laboratory in early 1942, where scientists and engineers worked to solve the fundamental problem of anti-submarine warfare: how to attack submarines that could disappear into three-dimensional ocean space where conventional weapons could not reach them effectively. The solution required advances in acoustics, guidance systems, and weapon design that challenged every assumption about torpedo technology and naval warfare. American research teams recognized that submarines created distinctive sound signatures through their propellers, engines, and hull movements that could be detected and tracked using sensitive hydrophone arrays. The challenge was developing a weapon system that could follow these acoustic signatures automatically while maintaining the range, speed, and explosive power necessary to destroy heavily built German submarines operating at tactical depths up to 400 feet below the surface. The designation Mark 24 mine was deliberately chosen to conceal the weapon's true capabilities from German intelligence services that might intercept American communications or capture examples of the weapon during combat operations. American security agencies understood that maintaining operational secrecy would multiply the weapon's effectiveness by preventing German countermeasures and tactical adaptations that might reduce its lethality against submarine targets. The acoustic guidance system represented revolutionary advances in underwater technology that enabled autonomous target tracking without human intervention or external guidance signals that might be intercepted or jammed by enemy forces. The weapon's 4 hydrophones could detect submarine noise at ranges exceeding 1,500 yards while discriminating between target signatures and background ocean sounds that might cause false guidance or premature detonation. American industrial capacity enabled rapid development and production of FIDO systems through coordination between private research institutions, government agencies, and manufacturing facilities that could translate laboratory prototypes into operational weapons within months, rather than the years typically required for major weapons development programs. This accelerated timeline reflected both technological sophistication and organizational efficiency that German research programs could not match. The tactical integration of FIDO weapons into existing anti-submarine warfare procedures required extensive coordination between naval aviation units, surface escort forces, and intelligence services that tracked German submarine movements and operational patterns. American doctrine evolved to emphasize coordinated attacks that used conventional weapons to force submarines to submerge, where FIDO weapons could engage them effectively without surface interference. The training programs that prepared American aircrews for FIDO employment emphasized the weapon's unique characteristics and operational requirements, while maintaining the secrecy essential for tactical surprise. Pilots and bombardiers learned to recognize optimal attack conditions, coordinate with other aircraft and surface vessels, and assess attack results without revealing classified information about weapon capabilities or performance characteristics. German submarine commanders had developed considerable confidence in their ability to evade air attacks through emergency diving procedures that had proven effective against conventional depth charges and machine gun attacks. This confidence was based on genuine tactical success and reflected the reality that most air attacks against submarines achieved minimal results despite the resources devoted to anti-submarine patrol operations. The logistical systems that supported FIDO deployment included specialized storage, handling, and maintenance procedures that reflected the weapon's sophisticated guidance systems and sensitive components. American bases throughout the Atlantic and Pacific theaters received the equipment and training necessary to support FIDO operations, while maintaining the security protocols essential for protecting classified technology. The intelligence advantages that supported FIDO employment included code-breaking capabilities that provided detailed information about German submarine movements, operating areas, and tactical procedures. This intelligence enabled American forces to position anti-submarine patrols in areas where FIDO attacks would be most effective, while coordinating with surface forces that could exploit successful attacks against German submarine formations. The strategic implications of FIDO deployment extended beyond individual submarine kills to broader questions about German submarine strategy and the sustainability of U-boat operations against Allied shipping. American planners recognized that demonstrating new capabilities against German submarines might force changes in German tactics that would reduce overall submarine effectiveness, even when FIDO weapons were not directly involved. American technological advantages in FIDO development reflected broader disparities in scientific research, industrial capacity, and institutional cooperation that had accumulated throughout the war period. While German research focused on individual weapons programs with limited coordination between agencies, American development integrated multiple institutions and disciplines in coordinated efforts that achieved superior results in shorter time periods. October 4, 1943, 1547 GMT, TBF Avenger from USS Card, 200 feet above the North Atlantic. Lieutenant Commander Williams initiated the FIDO attack sequence as his aircraft passed over the position where U-422 had submerged 4 minutes earlier. The weapon's release mechanism functioned perfectly, dropping the acoustic torpedo cleanly away from the aircraft while activating the guidance systems that would transform a routine patrol into a demonstration of revolutionary anti-submarine technology. The FIDO entered the water with minimal splash, its streamlined design eliminating the dramatic surface effects that characterize conventional weapons and might alert submarine crews to incoming attacks. Within seconds, the weapon's ballast systems activated, bringing it to the optimal depth for acoustic target acquisition, while its 4 hydrophones began scanning for the distinctive sound signatures that would identify submarine targets and guide the weapon to intercept. Below the surface, U-422 continued its evasion maneuvers according to standard German procedures that had proven effective against conventional air attacks throughout 3 years of Atlantic combat. Zimmermann maintained silent running protocols, while his crew listened for any indication that American aircraft had detected their position or were conducting follow-up attacks using depth charges or other conventional weapons. The submarine's sound signature was clearly detectable to FIDO's acoustic guidance system, despite German efforts to minimize noise through reduced speed and electrical operation. The weapon's hydrophones identified the characteristic frequencies generated by U-422's propellers, electrical motors, and hull vibrations, creating a sonic picture that enabled precise tracking even when the submarine attempted evasive maneuvers or speed changes. FIDO's guidance system calculated intercept courses automatically, adjusting the weapon's trajectory to compensate for submarine movements while maintaining optimal approach angles that would maximize the probability of impact and detonation. The acoustic torpedo's speed of 12 knots was sufficient to overtake most submarines operating at tactical depths, while providing enough endurance to pursue targets through extended evasion attempts. The weapon's approach was completely undetectable by German sonar equipment that had been designed to locate surface vessels and other submarines rather than small, slowly moving objects like acoustic torpedoes. U-422's hydrophone operators heard no indication of the weapon that was homing on their submarine with mechanical precision, following an acoustic trail that led inevitably toward impact and destruction. Zimmermann's crew maintained silent running for 8 minutes after the initial dive, following standard procedures that had consistently enabled successful evasion of American air attacks in previous encounters. The submarine's sound discipline was excellent, with crew members avoiding unnecessary movement or equipment operation that might generate noise detectable by enemy hydrophones or sonar systems. The FIDO's acoustic guidance remained locked on U-422's sound signature, despite the submarine's efforts to minimize noise generation. The weapon's sensitive hydrophones could detect and track even the minimal sounds created by essential submarine systems that could not be completely silenced without compromising the boat's ability to maintain depth, trim, and basic life support functions. At 15:54 GMT, the acoustic torpedo's proximity fuse activated as FIDO approached to within 20 yards of U-422's hull, detonating the weapon's 92-pound Torpex warhead in a massive underwater explosion that created a pressure wave capable of crushing submarine hulls and destroying vital internal systems. The detonation occurred directly beneath the submarine's control room, creating maximum structural damage while preventing effective damage control responses. U-422's hull cracked along multiple stress lines as the explosion created pressures that exceeded the submarine's design limitations, causing immediate flooding that overwhelmed pumping systems and destroyed electrical equipment essential for emergency procedures. The submarine's compartments flooded rapidly while her crew struggled to implement emergency surfacing procedures that could no longer function due to battle damage and power failures. The German submarine broke the surface briefly as emergency ballast systems partially functioned, but the massive structural damage made the boat unseaworthy and impossible to control. Zimmermann ordered abandon ship as U-422 began her final plunge toward the ocean floor, carrying classified equipment and intelligence that would never reach German naval headquarters or contribute to improved submarine tactics. Lieutenant Commander Williams observed the submarine's brief surface appearance and subsequent sinking, confirming the successful employment of FIDO against a German U-boat that had been destroyed by a weapon whose existence remained unknown to German naval intelligence. The attack demonstrated that American acoustic torpedo technology could achieve results that exceeded those of conventional anti-submarine weapons while maintaining complete operational secrecy. The destruction of U-422 represented more than the loss of a single submarine. It demonstrated that German submarines were vulnerable to American weapons that could attack them in the underwater environment where they had previously felt secure from air attacks. The psychological implications were enormous, though German Naval Command would not understand the nature of the threat for several additional months. American intelligence analysts noted the successful FIDO attack in classified reports that documented the weapon's effectiveness while maintaining the secrecy essential for continued operational success. The acoustic torpedo had performed exactly as designed, demonstrating capabilities that would transform anti-submarine warfare while providing American forces with decisive advantages in the Battle of the Atlantic. The tactical success of the FIDO attack against U-422 validated months of research, development, and testing, while establishing operational procedures that would be applied throughout the Atlantic and Pacific theaters. The weapon had proven that American technological innovation could create decisive tactical advantages, even against experienced enemies operating in their preferred environment. Within hours of U-422's destruction, German naval communications began carrying fragmentary reports about American air attacks that achieved unusually effective results against submarines employing standard evasion procedures. These initial reports were dismissed by German intelligence services as operational errors or equipment failures, rather than indications of new American capabilities that exceeded previous anti-submarine weapon performance. The psychological impact on German submarine crews was immediate but poorly understood, as reports of successful American attacks against submerged U-boats seemed to contradict established tactical doctrine and operational experience. German submariners had developed confidence in their ability to evade air attacks through emergency diving procedures, and accounts of submarines being destroyed while submerged challenged fundamental assumptions about underwater sanctuary and tactical security. American anti-submarine warfare units reported dramatic improvements in attack effectiveness during the final months of 1943, with success rates against German submarines increasing by margins that exceeded statistical variation and suggested fundamental changes in weapons performance or tactical procedures. These improvements were carefully documented while maintaining the operational security essential for protecting classified weapon capabilities. German attempts to analyze increased submarine losses focused on conventional explanations, including improved American radar, enhanced depth charge patterns, and better coordination between aircraft and surface escorts. German intelligence services never suspected that American forces had deployed acoustic guidance technology that could track submarines through their own sound signatures while remaining undetectable to existing German sonar systems. The strategic implications became apparent as German submarine effectiveness declined throughout late 1943 and early 1944. With fewer successful attacks against Allied shipping and higher loss rates among experienced U-boat crews. These trends reflected multiple factors, including improved Allied tactics, increased escort strength, and enhanced intelligence capabilities. But FIDO weapons contributed significantly to the overall transformation of Atlantic warfare. American production facilities accelerated FIDO manufacturing to meet operational demand from anti-submarine units throughout the Atlantic and Pacific theaters. The weapon's proven effectiveness justified expanded production while maintaining the security protocols necessary to protect acoustic guidance technology from enemy intelligence services that might develop countermeasures if they understood the nature of American capabilities. German submarine doctrine underwent gradual revision as commanders attempted to explain increased losses and reduced operational effectiveness against Allied forces that seemed to possess improved anti-submarine capabilities. These doctrinal changes emphasized enhanced stealth, modified patrol patterns, and improved evasion techniques that reflected German recognition of changing tactical conditions without understanding their underlying causes. Allied intelligence services documented the propaganda value of successful FIDO attacks through monitoring of German communications and prisoner interrogations that revealed confusion and declining morale among submarine crews. These psychological effects multiplied the weapon's tactical impact by creating uncertainty and fear that reduced German submarine aggressiveness and operational effectiveness. The medical implications of FIDO attacks were documented through examination of submarine survivors who exhibited injuries and trauma patterns consistent with underwater explosions that exceeded the destructive effects of conventional depth charges. These medical findings provided scientific evidence of weapon effectiveness while contributing to understanding of underwater combat casualties and survival procedures. American tactical doctrine evolved to integrate FIDO weapons into coordinated anti-submarine operations that combined conventional attacks with acoustic torpedo employment to achieve maximum effectiveness against submarine targets. These procedures emphasized timing, coordination, and security while maintaining the flexibility necessary to adapt to changing tactical conditions and enemy countermeasures. The international implications became apparent as Allied nations requested access to American acoustic torpedo technology for their own anti-submarine operations. These requests were carefully evaluated to balance operational effectiveness against security requirements while maintaining American technological advantages and protecting classified research and development programs. German counterintelligence efforts intensified as submarine losses mounted and operational effectiveness declined. But German services never identified the specific nature of American technological improvements that were contributing to enhanced anti-submarine warfare capabilities. This intelligence failure prevented effective German countermeasures, while enabling continued American tactical advantages throughout the remaining war period. The economic impact of successful FIDO attacks extended beyond individual submarine losses to broader effects on German submarine production, training programs, and resource allocation that reflected the cumulative impact of increased loss rates and reduced operational effectiveness. These economic implications multiplied the strategic value of acoustic torpedo technology while demonstrating American capability to achieve decisive results through technological innovation. The cultural impact within American anti-submarine forces was profound, as successful FIDO attacks demonstrated the effectiveness of scientific research and technological development in creating decisive military advantages. These successes encouraged continued innovation while establishing precedents for applying advanced technology to tactical challenges that had previously seemed intractable through conventional approaches. The overwhelming success of FIDO acoustic torpedoes in anti-submarine warfare operations established American leadership in guided weapon technology, while demonstrating the strategic value of coordinated research and development programs that integrated scientific institutions, government agencies, and industrial manufacturers in focused efforts to solve specific military challenges. This model of technological development would influence American military research throughout the Cold War and beyond. The acoustic guidance systems developed for FIDO weapons represented fundamental advances in underwater technology that enabled autonomous target tracking and intercept capabilities exceeding anything available to other military forces during World War II. These guidance systems established principles and techniques that would influence torpedo design, submarine detection, and underwater warfare for decades, while providing foundations for advances in sonar technology and acoustic engineering. American industrial capacity enabled mass production of acoustic torpedoes at scales that exceeded the manufacturing capabilities of any other nation, while maintaining quality control standards that ensured consistent performance under diverse operational conditions. The production achievements demonstrated American ability to translate laboratory prototypes into operational weapons through efficient manufacturing processes that integrated precision engineering with assembly line techniques. The integration of FIDO weapons into existing anti-submarine warfare doctrine required comprehensive revision of tactical procedures, training programs, and operational coordination that demonstrated American institutional flexibility and adaptability. These doctrinal changes influenced military thinking about technology integration, force multiplication, and coordinated operations that would guide American military development throughout subsequent conflicts. The security protocols developed to protect FIDO technology established precedents for managing classified weapons programs while maintaining operational effectiveness and international cooperation. These procedures balanced operational requirements against security needs while enabling selective technology sharing with allied forces that could contribute to overall strategic objectives without compromising American technological advantages. The research infrastructure created to support FIDO development enabled advances in related technologies, including underwater acoustics, guidance systems, and precision manufacturing, that would benefit both military and civilian applications throughout the post-war period. The scientific expertise developed through acoustic torpedo research established American leadership in underwater technology while providing foundations for oceanographic research and marine engineering. The intelligence applications of acoustic torpedo technology provided valuable information about submarine characteristics, operational patterns, and technological capabilities that informed broader strategic planning while contributing to understanding of enemy strengths and vulnerabilities. This intelligence contributed to American naval strategy while supporting tactical operations that achieved decisive results against enemy submarine forces. The economic analysis of FIDO operations demonstrated superior cost-effectiveness compared to conventional anti-submarine weapons while providing strategic results that justified continued investment in advanced technology development. The relatively modest cost of acoustic torpedoes compared to their tactical impact established precedents for evaluating military technology investments based on operational effectiveness rather than initial development expenses. The international implications of American acoustic torpedo technology influenced post-war naval development as other nations sought to develop comparable capabilities while adapting American innovations to their specific requirements and resources. This technology transfer established American influence in international naval development while providing diplomatic advantages through technical cooperation and assistance programs. Post-war analysis revealed that FIDO weapons had achieved strategic results that exceeded German comprehension during active combat operations, contributing to German submarine force decline while enabling Allied naval superiority that determined the outcome of the Battle of the Atlantic. The psychological and tactical effects of acoustic torpedoes multiplied their direct impact while demonstrating the strategic value of technological surprise in modern warfare. The technological foundation established by FIDO development enabled American advances in guided missiles, precision weapons, and automated systems that would dominate military technology throughout the Cold War period. The principles of autonomous guidance, target discrimination, and precision engagement established through acoustic torpedo development became fundamental characteristics of American military technology that maintained technological superiority against potential adversaries. The lessons learned from FIDO deployment influenced American approaches to weapons development, technology integration, and operational coordination that emphasized rapid innovation, flexible adaptation, and coordinated implementation of new capabilities. These lessons became institutional knowledge that guided American military research and development while establishing cultural preferences for technological solutions to tactical challenges. The transformation of the Battle of the Atlantic through FIDO acoustic torpedo technology demonstrated the power of American scientific research and industrial capacity to create decisive military advantages that exceeded enemy capabilities and expectations. German submarine commanders who had dominated Atlantic shipping lanes for 3 years suddenly found themselves vulnerable to weapons they could neither detect nor evade, fundamentally altering the strategic balance of naval warfare through technological innovation rather than numerical superiority. The irony was historically profound and strategically decisive in ways that extended far beyond individual submarine encounters to fundamental questions about technological development and military adaptation in modern warfare. German forces that had pioneered submarine warfare and achieved unprecedented success through tactical innovation discovered that American technological capabilities could neutralize their advantages while creating new vulnerabilities that German doctrine had never anticipated. The human dimension of this transformation revealed truths about the relationship between scientific research and military effectiveness that would influence American strategic thinking for generations. The scientists and engineers who developed FIDO technology had created weapons that saved countless Allied lives while shortening the war through decisive technological advantages that proved more effective than massive increases in conventional forces or resources. The strategic implications extended far beyond submarine warfare to fundamental questions about technological competition, industrial capacity, and the sources of military advantage in conflicts between advanced nations. American success with acoustic torpedo development proved that coordinated research programs could achieve results that exceeded the capabilities of individual genius or traditional military approaches to weapons development. The ultimate testament to American achievement lay in the speed and completeness with which FIDO deployment transformed anti-submarine warfare while maintaining the operational security necessary to preserve technological advantages throughout the conflict period. The weapon had achieved strategic results through technological superiority rather than brute force, demonstrating that superior innovation could overcome numerical disadvantages and tactical experience. The Germans bet on the silence of the ocean, but the Americans mastered silence itself, proving that when war becomes a competition of signals, those who hear better inevitably prevail. The acoustic torpedo had turned German submarines' greatest asset, their ability to disappear beneath the waves, into a liability that enabled their own destruction through the very sounds they could not eliminate. Stories like this reveal how American technological innovation could transform apparent tactical stalemates into decisive strategic advantages through the application of scientific research and industrial capacity to specific military challenges. The FIDO represented more than a weapon. It embodied American values of innovation, coordination, and technological excellence that would define military competition throughout the remainder of the 20th century. In the next episode, we'll explore another hidden aspect of American technological superiority that caught enemy forces completely unprepared, while demonstrating the power of coordinated research and development to achieve impossible results. Subscribe now to uncover more of World War II's secret technological innovations that changed the course of history through American ingenuity and determination.